Welcome to Daily Devo. I'm Pat. Today we're going to talk about focusing our focus. I once heard that every person will eventually be minimized to one sentence. That at our memorial service, people will have all kinds of things to say about us, but as time marches on, eventually will be contained in one short sentence. Bob, he was a good man. Bill, he had a bad temper. Mary, she had such a big heart. Courtney, she had such a sweet spirit. I know it feels a little depressing that after an entire life we're boiled down to one sentence, but it's a reminder of how fleeting so much of life is. In James chapter 1, verse 10, James writes this, "And those who are rich should boast that God has humbled them. They will fade away like a little flower in the field." If you read the whole book of James, which is only a few chapters, it will become clear that one of the problems James was confronting was the arrogance of the wealthy and the special treatment they were receiving in some of the churches. Now, two things for you and me to consider with this verse. Number one, I recognize most listening are immediately thinking of someone else when I use the word rich or wealthy. However, let me remind you that the very fact that you live in the United States makes you one of the wealthiest people who have ever lived on this planet. Compared to most of the world that is actually living today, much less throughout all of history, you and I, simply because of where we live, are some of the wealthiest to ever walk this earth. So this probably does apply to you and me. Number two, the principle of verse 10 extends beyond just money, although that is what James is confronting, that wealth and riches are fleeting. Yet we could add how fleeting fame is, or how fleeting power is, or how fleeting beauty is, how fleeting life is. I know that all of us have heard this message before, but sometimes our focus needs more focus. So let's just take a moment and allow God to focus our focus. According to James, it's humility that helps us understand that our wealth, our power, our fame, our very lives are like a flower in the field that blooms and is beautiful, but in a matter of days or weeks it withers and is gone. That's what will happen to most of what we fight for and bleed for and work for and pour so much energy towards. It'll be gone. James is saying if we boast about anything, we should brag on the fact that God would love us enough to actually humble us and help us see clearly that these things are fleeting. They're here and gone. We should brag on a God that would humble us and help us focus on the things that matter, the things that have an eternal value. See, it's not that these things are inherently bad. Money, power, fame, all of these are neutral. And if we allow God to help us walk in humility, and if we've been blessed with these things, money, power, fame, then in humility, leverage these for something that will last. Leverage these for eternal value. Your money, your power, your influence, your opportunities are fleeting. But what if someday when you and I stood before Jesus, you could hear him say, "Well done. Well done using those temporary things to further my kingdom." Make sure that today, whatever you do, that you are not just spending all your time and energy on things that will blow away, but focus your focus and instead leverage your time, leverage your talent, and leverage your treasures toward what will last.